which turned into the grizzly. Didn't kill the brown bear, and it didn't kill the bison, the buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, it killed all the horses and all their stuff. All the other stuff had quite specific diets. Okay? The ground sloth had to have huge trees. Okay? The saber-toothed tigers had to have ground sloths and other major meat eaters. Okay? In this event, most of those larger animals either died or had not enough food to survive. Well, the brown bear is a total scavenger. It will eat anything. Okay? It can eat decaying carcasses. In fact, it puts it's like an alligator. It puts its stuff away for a while and comes back and eats on it.
It does, yeah.
Okay? Because it's better the second or third day.
Yeah.
Okay? So it could eat carcasses of animals that are dying. So as everything survived is dying, what's left? The brown bear scavenging on everything. Okay? And then, since the brown bears couldn't touch the bison, okay, and the bison, like a cow, can eat very bad grasses. Grasses that a horse and a zebra, they won't touch that shit. They want the fresh grass. Okay?
Yeah.
They don't have a stomach like a cow. They have a horse that's less complimentary stomach to digest. Cows can digest almost nothing and get nutrients. Well, that's what a bison and a buffalo is. So they could eat all this putrefying matter that nothing else could really eat and metabolize, but they could. Okay, and if there was enough of them, like we could see there were herds and herds and herds, well, then most likely in areas they repopulated because they could eat the bad food, just like the bears. These are the only large megafaunas left. But they're the ones that can take the most adverse diet. So that, and you go, well, why didn't they die? Well, there's the explanation right there. You just talk to any person that's a horse person, and they go, yeah, we got to change that hay all the time because they won't eat the shit they walked on. Well, a cow will eat the shit. They'll shit on the shit and then eat the shit.
Yeah.
They're not very picky. I mean, to a point, when they get hungry, they will eat anything. That's why the Mongols died out when the cold came. And then the cows took over in Northern Europe. The Mongols' horses couldn't take the colds. When those many ice ages hit, their horses' populations plummeted. Their horses are what they lived on to attack. Once their horse population plummeted, because all the grasses in the last little ice, they were gone. They were, boom, they disappeared from history. They said, the leader died. No, they've been going 100 years and changing leaders around. They took over China, and all of a sudden you said, no, it's because the way of life on the horse wasn't sustainable. But the cow could eat shit that they couldn't. And that's why the cow populations started growing. And the horse population never took over. Same thing happened in America. The cow population, which were the bison,
Right.
they took over, and the horses were gone. They couldn't handle the food sources that were available, not nutritious enough. So that's why that event left a few things here and nothing else. And they go, and it's not that we would have hunted the shit out of the buffalo, and then if it was Clovis first and we got rid of them all, and then our population crashed, well, then explain the American Indian and the overabundance of buffalo all across the plains that we had to slaughter to get rid of the Indian because it had enough resources that they didn't need us until we took care of their buffalo, and then they needed us.
Yeah.
And then they would go to reservation. So we starved their food source. It's the same mechanism. You starve the food source, and the people perish. Not the opposite way around. The people don't kill everything. It's never happened anywhere in the world that we've completely taken out all the animals and then we died off.
But that's a theory, isn't it?
That's Clovis first.
Okay.
That we killed all the big animals, and that's what it's like. There's no evidence there was that many people. There's no evidence we had the technology.
That means we'd have to be killing they'd have to be
thousands a day,
and mammoths and stuff, right? Huge creatures.
Each tribe would have to kill a mammoth a day.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with a mammoth a day? The bones aren't sitting here on top of everything. They get scavenged and stuff and used when they do die.
Do you think they even hunted them?
Yeah, they followed them because they could find an area where they could drop push it over to an area and drop something on it. Once its leg breaks or its neck breaks, or hip breaks,
yeah,
it's done. It can't afford an injury.
But that couldn't have happened that often where they actually killed it. Did they like
But if you
scavenge
realize,
them when they were
no,
dead
they would
more, or
scavenge
what?
them when the old ones died.
Yeah.
They'd be there to pick up the pieces. When the young ones were vulnerable and the mom was asleep, they would take advantage of it real quickly and injure it and run away. They're not going to stand off and say, "Yeah, I'll take you on, you motherfucking mammoth." That's not how it works. You see something that big, you take off.
Yeah.
You don't. But when it's a little, you get 4 or 5 of your warriors and you plunge your spears into its side and its eyes, and you really maim it enough that it can't survive anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's going to die, and you just wait around. It's just like hyenas. They don't. They come in and they attack a person, game from the back, or they cripple it, and then they hunt it down. And until finally, they attack it so many times. They don't like a lion. They don't just go for the fucking neck. They come at it and hit it by the back, and all these little attacks slow it down until it just can't go anymore, and then they just eat it alive. A lion always makes sure its prey is dead.
Yeah.
The hyenas will eat you alive.
Yeah. Bears too. They'll eat whatever alive.
Yeah, because they don't go like this. They don't have that. They know they can just
Yeah.
crunch on you. They don't take you unless they knock you. But almost all lions will come from behind, grab you by your neck,
Yeah, all
and
the
shake
cats.
you,
All
and
the
snap
cats.
your neck.
Cats are crazy. They like to kill shit.
Well, most of the cats come from ambush scenarios. Very few, except the savanna predators, actually going to come from you front and run you down because
Right.
there's 4 or 5 of them like this that are going to encircle you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that's it. But leading back to, how did all these animals die? Nobody can tell you how. They make these obscene things like we're responsible. That's like Trump did everything they said he did, and so far they haven't proved anything.
Yeah.
It's like you got to come up with something that's believable and has evidence to back it up. And you can't dismiss the black mat layer. You can't dismiss the iridium and the platinum signatures that are 12,800 years ago in 10.9. You can't dismiss all that. Okay, you can't dismiss the fact that the Great Lakes are there and the boiloids show, and they're not meteors. They had to be ice impacted, because a meteor would change the whole dynamic of the ground underneath it. It wouldn't just move around the sand in top layer. It would blam. It would have enough impact. Only a secondary impact would have that, and there's no fragmentation in any of these.
So which impact was it? Do we think that was it?
Well, the
Because
12,000.
don't we have like Pulse 1A and Pulse 1B?
Yeah, that's
and
two impacts, and that can make sense because.
Those are the ones that you think one of those might have done the Great
Well,
Lakes.
remember,
Right?
we've got the Great Lakes as an impactor event, okay? And we also have Yellowstone as an impactor event coming up now, because we've got the crater, we've got the scar mark that it punched into the mantle. So if you had fragments from the same one that came around another 100 years or 2,000 years later and within a period and struck you again, not here, but here.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a ways away. That's not like it's just right here. So it was a separate event, most likely, from what we think now. That could, or there's another impact event in Turkey that lines up with 12,000 years ago. There's another one off the Indian coast that is coming in at about that time, 11. So we were in the stream.
We were getting bombarded.
We were getting bombarded by multiple events.